Hello and welcome to Hardcore Crappie Fishing. Dang, we are hot on the topic. It's so hot, I may take my shirt off. Oh, wait a second. Let's keep this rated PG for professional guide.
Yeah.
Oh, professional guide. What does that mean? What does it take to have a guide license on Beaver Lake? Well, guess what? 4 guys here all have their license, and so we're going to find out what you need, what you don't need, and what's kind of recommended. But let's just start with Payton, because he's got the inside on all this stuff. I guess the fallacy is on Beaver Lake that you need a captain's license to have a guide service.
Negative. So, and I've kind of been after this answer for 2 years because it's been put in people's head that you have to have a U.S. Coast Guard captain's license. And that retains to what's called a 6-pack.
Yep.
And that is for navigable water. So that's what I've been told, and this and that. And so you got to have your Arkansas guide's license through the Arkansas Game and Fish.
Yeah.
And you have to have an insurance policy. I was always told $1 million insurance policy, but I think that varies. I've got mine. You've got the same insurance too.
Yeah.
Same company.
Yeah, all 3 do it, right?
But anyway, this captain's license thing's kind of blowed up lately, and
Yeah, it's been about 3 years. I guess.
yeah, everybody talking, and there's certain people telling everybody they have to get it because you're illegal, you can't guide this and that because you're illegal, you don't have this 6-pack. Well, I've been talking to the Coast Guard, which awesome guys, and they finally had a meeting on Beaver Lake. And that they discussed that Beaver Lake is not navigable water. They're not going to put an officer here to require you to have a captain's license on Beaver Lake. I said that's official statement done. That's
And up until you got the question, all we was getting from the Coast Guard, what was that one guy's name we talked with?
Jesse.
Yep. Very nice guy, and he's been at some of the boat shows around and trying to promote it a little bit as well. But he had, even to him, didn't say that we had to have it. He said at some point we may have to have it.
They were waiting on to have their meeting and discuss just Beaver Lake.
But he can only say so much, and so fortunately there's a few of us that just stuck it out and waited until we got a confirmed notification that we're not going to have that.
Which we kind of knew already.
And then the version now table rock and bull are a little bit different.
Like the Ozarks have.
Yeah. And table rock's had it for quite some time, I guess. From what I understand, a lot of it is because of the commercial stuff that they have on the lake. Has brought up, with the commercial operations. And then I think there's some commercial operations as well on bull, from what I understand. So
things that are mandatory is life jackets,
right.
fire extinguishers. If you have to have 2, you only need 1.
Now we do have
and a first aid kit should be carried. It's recommended,
first aid.
but you don't have to. But those are actually the ones in the
fire extinguisher, paddle.
Paddle, yeah, paddle. And I get my paddle out? Nah. No. I just start my big.
You're supposed to either have you're supposed to have enough life vests for the amount of people on board and 1 extra in case somebody come over, somebody falls.
I found out that our inflatable ones aren't considered life vests.
Unless you're wearing them the whole time.
Yeah.
You have to wear them the whole time.
The inflatables.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I have
you have an inflatable, don't you?
a cushion as well.
You gotta have that.
I've got a throw out that can be thrown and used as a help preserve somebody as well. So.
I mean, we're not all of us are running 135 horse Mercs. But isn't it 135
250.
horse?
He's got 250.
Oh, 250.
Yeah.
250.
He's got 250 on there.
250. I know.
But there's been so much drama on this one subject lately, and it's just like all you had to do was call and get the right answers because Beaver Lake is under Lower Mississippi Command.
Uh-huh.
And Table Rock and Bull Shoals in Missouri, they're on Upper Mississippi Command. So Upper Mississippi is telling everybody they gotta have this captain's license, this and that, and the people down here are believing that. And Lower Mississippi Command finally, you know, is gonna put it cut and dry and put out a deal that Beaver Lake do not need it.
Right.
So
Some
people believe all this stuff people have told them, and I've sat here and told them, look in the face and said, you don't need it on Beaver Lake. I've told them. But now it's finally, the statement's gonna be released, and
I've even gotten some phone calls from guides in other areas.
yeah, like what's going on up there?
I mean, down south, that's even calling and say, hey, what's up? Because we're even hearing we're gonna have to do it.
Yeah,
And
just a big rumor
I
mill.
told them what they was, what we knew. And then, since you found this out just a day or two ago,
Yeah, they finally contacted
I've
me.
had two of them has already seen that and said, hey, have you seen that y'all don't have to have it? And I said, yeah, I heard that. And so it's really wild that how much spread across the whole state.
I went into other states. I got calls from other states.
Oklahoma,
Asking about
Mississippi,
certain subjects.
and that's what TJ Sands is even asking us. He was talking about, because they were talking about when he was up here. If he was living up here for a while. And he was asking.
So does Grenada?
There is some talk that they.
But they're under lower again too. See, they're under lower. There's a totally different command.
I think what's going on some of the other, from what I understand on some of the other states, the game and fish are making some different regulations to keep. So what's happened in Mississippi and some of the other states is on the crappie trails, there's obviously not enough money in the purses, especially in today, right now, with the economy the way it is, the expenses of housing and fuel and the expenses of, whatever else can happen on your boats, tearing them up to everything that they go out there and they fish for whatever little amount of money, but it's costing them 3 times of what they can actually deal. And so what was going on was a lot of these people that were fishing in these other states, they would guide on their week of pre-fishing, or they'd stay a week later or whatever. They'd set some trips up to help justify the expenses, and they have made some stipulations through, I think, the Game and Fish, where it's a little bit stiffer for them to just say, okay, I'm going to guide. Like, from best I remember, in Missouri, you don't necessarily have to have a guide's license. You can pretty much guide in Missouri, whether you're in-state or out-of-state. Oklahoma, Arkansas, you have an out-of-state guide license, where some of the other states didn't have that.
Right.
And so now they have changed that regulation now to where if you're gonna go in Mississippi and you're gonna be guiding, you're gonna have to buy this guide license or whatever.
It's really high too.
It's
expensive too.
I think Arkansas is up around 500 now, isn't it?
Really? No, I think they're wanting to change it, or looking at it. Well, I have another rumor,
No, I think on our state.
Out of state, without you're going in Mississippi and you're from
I know.
It's up there.
It's like 5.
The last couple years have been really interesting.
It does.
With we're all pre-live scope guides. This is popping up live scope guides are here now.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, they come in real strong and they fade away.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
there's a lot more to being a guide than people think.
They're in and out. They make a couple money and they think it's easy, and then
Yeah.
Somebody breaks a couple rods or they drop a rod reel in the lake.
It's also been tough. I mean,
They get in trouble.
Because it's diluted with the
Right.
number of people who are guides now. It's like anyone who has a boat, they've instantly become a guide.
Yeah.
And they buy their license, which means they're legal and they can do it, which, but it's the number of guides is quite high. It'd be interesting to know the number of people who
Yeah.
are guiding on Beaver Lake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I have people contact me wanting to be, talk about being a guide and stuff, and I try to just give them, I'm like, the information, and I'm like, here's the main thing you don't want to do being a guide. You don't want to burn bridges with any fisherman, because they'll make or break you. And
Well,
I've seen a lot of them
yeah.
come in here, and they befriend you, and they ask questions and all this, and next thing you know,
Well, the last,
they're doing their own thing, and they're like, I don't need nobody's help.
in the last,
And then they fade away.
I mean, this is my 10th year,
Yeah.
and then I can honestly say in the last 5 years, I've had more people get on the boat for life scope purposes.
Yeah.
And after we fish, it's less than a month, and
They've
got
got it.
putting life scope on their boat, and they're fishing, they think they got it figured out, and they're fishing. Some of them are successful with that, and some haven't. Of course, when that all happened, that's a customer we just lost, because we're not gonna get that person
Right.
back as a repeat customer. And then, as we all know, we're in one of our slowest years we've had, and I don't think it's got anything to do with live scope. I don't think it's got anything to do with deal. It's just money is very tight
Yeah.
with our economy, and we've also are approaching election year, and I don't care how good the economy is. Election years are always tough in any kind of business, not just in our business, but in any kind of business, people will hold back on election year, especially as closer you get to election. But this year, all of us, even Lance hasn't, he's probably our youngest one that's been doing it for the least amount of years.
Yeah.
And I think you can probably vouch that this year's trips has been a little bit tougher to having versus your first year you started,
Yeah.
because of nobody's getting money.
Yeah, because even the price check calls are,
Yeah,
No.
I mean, we don't even have people calling.
or try to negotiate.
And exactly. I mean, used to, here we are, halfway through May, and I would be booked from the end of July, 1st of August, solid, every weekend.
I think
And-
that's also due to the number of new guides out there. The
Well,
number,
it has.
It's diluted.
it's there, yeah, it's still
Diluted
It
price.
has to a degree, but this is
Some of
like
it's-
within this last year, I can name several that has bailed because they came into it as it was starting to get slow and tough, and then the captain's thing steered them
Yeah.
back, what started them.
And some
way
quit
as
their
well.
jobs and
Some, yeah.
took their price
yes.
to a really low amount for the day, and
Well, I mean, it don't matter.
can't charge low.
The
No,
thing
what
is,
the
it don't
charge
even
was
matter
reasonable
what they're,
amount.
it doesn't matter what they're charging, and that's their business. But the problem is when you leave a job, or you cut your schedule half and two on a job, and you just thinking that this is gonna be your livelihood, man, it was hot and heavy through COVID. Everybody was at home, they had money,
You know,
they didn't have to go to work, they could some of them had government money, some of them didn't, somebody was, making more money from their regular job just because they didn't have to drive into the office and work, and they had time on their hands and they could get out and they could go fishing.
yeah.
I mean, during COVID, until even after COVID hit, we were covered up. We would get
Oh, yeah.
5 calls, we get 5-6 calls a week,
yeah,
and want to go that day.
yeah.
And you don't get it now. I mean, you just, even like you said, we're not even getting phone calls on price checking. And when we do, those guys, they already know,
Mm-hmm.
because they automatically say, well, so-and-so's charging this, how come you can't take
Yeah,
it
they
for
won't
this?
argue.
Well, I'm not gonna take that. My price is this. And, so, it's just really been a struggle this last year. It's a factor of several different things, I think.
I've been guiding since '89,
Yeah,
probably the longest, and there was probably a period of time like for 15 years.
Mhm.
And that was my full-time job.
Yeah.
That's all I did. And you could probably count about 13 striper guides out on the lake, and
And they were big.
that's what they were.
Lots more big.
Yeah, there was lots of big fish. That's another topic in its own discussion. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And so, but because of what I kind of went into, I'm doing that, because it's not many people can say that their job that they go to work at, it makes them a better fisherman. Like I fished, at one point I fished with half of all the Bassmaster Classic champions.
Mm-hmm.
In a boat, been there, sat there, fished with them, videoed them, took photos, and when I see a lot of guides, all they show is a bunch of fish. They don't say like what, because there's no set thing to be in a guide. But when they look up credentials, like that's what makes us four completely different. Us four as four guides sitting at this table is Crappie University, Bass Pro Shop seminars.
Yeah.
I mean, and doing those things like that, and doing print media, and being in the boat with. Of course, I'm lucky right now. I'm getting to go with some of the best crappie anglers in the world,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
You're
wow.
a sponge.
Yeah, all I am is I come back and I had to watch those dudes fish for like 2 hours, and they're whacking them. I come home and I go, well, I feel sorry for every fish that's around War Eagle Marina probably at that point, because I'm ripping lips.
Yeah.
So
Trying something just a little different. A little
yeah,
tweak.
there's
not,
things to learn.
Yeah.
But not just the guiding. Have you noticed? I mean, you've done several in the past years. You've done a lot of instructional trips on how to read the electronics
Yeah.
and that. Like me, I've done a lot of installs, and I mean, I'm telling you, this year it is just. I mean, even the installs have just died.
I'm not seeing the posts from other guides that I'm friends with. I'm not seeing it.
No.
I'm not seeing the
only
pictures.
the only thing we see now is they go fishing and they catch a
Book your
mess of fish, and,
Yeah.
and hey, the bite's pretty good. You know, I got open dates, you know. And
Doesn't mean that they caught him that day.
exactly.
Right.
So if you're looking at my picture and you're wondering why,
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
leaves on the tree,
Your bright chartreuse hoodie on.
could be because of that. I have to change some of the stuff.
You know,
Yeah, I
that
do.
fish, when you see that on the water, you might want to be careful.
Well, you know, sometimes doing bass fishing, you just don't exactly want someone sitting on that point when you show up. When you're fishing roamers, you at least have some space.
That's
You know,
your
one
high
thing
vis. That's your high vis jacket.
yeah, my high vis,
I think that's what it is now too. I mean, it's when people call me, they ask about live scope. So,
yeah. So I mean,
but it's gonna get. I mean, it always gets tough. So.
Mhm.
you know, we're gonna wrap this up, but things we're gonna do before we wrap it up is kill switch. Look at here, Greg's already mentioned it, so I'm gonna let him run with the kill switch deal.
Always wear it. Always
Yeah.
do. That's why
It's
it's
a law.
on there.
It's a law
I mean, it's a
in
law,
Arkansas.
and I'm
On
telling
Beaver
you,
Lake, anyway.
if you ever thrown from that boat, it will save your life. It can save your life and who's on board with you. So,
There you go.
yes, sir. Life jackets and kill switches, always.
If your
I have
guy
none
doesn't
all
put their life jacket on and hook their kill switch up, don't let them take off until they do it.
Yeah.
It may not be because of his driving skills, but I live out here and I constantly watch people that are
Yeah.
not very good drivers, I guess I should say. They cannot drive a boat, and it's scary, especially in the summertime, and so always make sure they have that on.
One more real quick thing I'd like to
All right.
say is, I think we need to give our hats off to old Bob.
Yeah.
Bob Collins passed away this past
Yeah,
week.
that's right.
And I mean, that's a legendary within our area. I mean, not only did he own Archie Lures as a lure company, was very successful. But I mean, this man, I don't remember how old he was, do you? But I mean, he was getting up there in the 80s, I think, and he fished the Elite Series and all that,
Yeah.
you know, up until this last year. And I mean, I don't know exactly what happened to Bob, but you know, he sold Archie out last year.
Yeah.
And he he quit fishing the tournaments, and then he passed away this past week, so
There you go.
we need to remember them.
Yep, there you go. So make sure you check your rules and regulations.
Yeah.
We are not the authority. We just have some information that we wanted to pass along. Lance, if they want to go fishing with you,
You can reach me at 479-236-4105. Look me up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Make sure you crappie guide service.
Payton,
You can catch me at
It's been a long day.
Payton Usrey Fishing on Facebook, and if you just want to call me to chat about any subject, I'm fine with that. 479-387-6153.
I wish your letters to your last four digits were like CAPT. Just call old Payton Cap. It's not. Don't call dial that number. We don't know who you're gonna get. And
Greg Scott Service or 479-601-1683.
you can contact me at Brad Wiegmann. You can call me at 479-756-5279. You can find me on Facebook at Brad Wiegmann. Like we always like to say, make sure you keep it hardcore.
Hardcore.
Put it together.
Yeah.
Boom.